Hi everyone, I'm Cloud. Before we begin, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal views. It does not constitute financial advice. The cryptocurrency market carries high risks. Please do your own research and consult a professional advisor before investing. Any predictions or analysis mentioned in this video may not be accurate, and you are solely responsible for your investment decisions. I'm not liable for any financial losses.
Let's first review last week's market before we talk about the outlook for next week. Last week was from September 22nd to September 28th. Bitcoin closed its weekly high at $115,840, but it failed to hold the midline. The weekly low closed at $108,620, which completed all of the targets, with a deviation of 120 points. Then for Ethereum, this week its high closed at $4,498. Since it didn't even hold the midline, that shows weakness. The low closed at $3,821, which hit all the downside targets. At this point, it has also reached the first downside target for September. And I've been doing this long enough that you should know. If the weekly target doesn't hold, then immediately look at the monthly target. I can't always be there to remind you every second, so you must learn how to read it yourself. My view was already very clear 3 weeks ago. During this period, I was clearly seeing danger. Otherwise, from the 16th to the end of the month, why would I have kept writing downtrend or danger? The only confusing part was from the 16th to the 18th, when Bitcoin just wouldn't drop. Look at how Bitcoin kept standing above the weekly midline and the monthly midline without breaking down. I already said in the week before that by now it should have broken the midline, but it just didn't. And I'm not the market maker. When the price doesn't move the way I expected, how could I dare to insist 100% on my view? I haven't even reached 1 year of experience yet. How could I have the courage to shout definitely bullish or definitely bearish? So Bitcoin chose to move sideways. Personally, I didn't dare to touch it because the move was a bit different from what I expected, so I needed to stay cautious. If you can see this clearly, you wouldn't have single-day liquidations of 1.6 billion. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to gamble on a quick rally here. When the drop didn't happen right away, I couldn't understand it either. That's why I immediately gave a warning. I even wrote it as a just in case, because I thought the probability was small, but who can guarantee something is 100% impossible. I had already insisted that the rally should finish by the 21st. In fact, I specifically wrote that we must continue observing the 18th. When the 18th rally attempt failed, it was obvious that the 19th should be watched next. And the 19th and 20th were actually the days I expected the biggest drop. As it turned out, the drop came on the 19th, so the rally scenario no longer applied, because this could just be a delayed move. I had already said that, in astrology, a delay of 1 or 2 days is normal, so if the move still matches my initial astrological reading, just delayed a bit, then what exactly did I get wrong? If on the 19th there had suddenly been a rally, and I failed to update you on the targets, that would have been my slow reaction. That would have meant I misunderstood the astrology completely. In that case, of course, I would admit I was wrong, and I don't feel embarrassed to admit that. Interestingly, over these 2 days, the crypto analyst I've been following also shared his frustration about being attacked by haters. This is the only channel I consistently follow. I've always thought his analysis was excellent, and yet even he gets accused of being a scammer. It's just frustrating. That day, I was at a violin concert. I opened Xiaohongshu and saw a blogger claiming he was the first in the entire internet to sense the risk of a crash, saying he felt there might be a sharp wick down on the 19th. But in the end, it happened 2 days later. I was in a good mood, so I casually commented, I already saw it on the 15th. And that's just the truth. Then suddenly, I ran into a troll who mocked me in the comments claiming I was bullish. Wasn't that absurd? I even politely replied to him that I was bearish, but he kept arguing, insisting I was bullish, just because he only focused on my mention of 12,000. For me, all predictions are based on the very first forecast I publish. That's my initial astrological reading. If I was wrong, then I was wrong. There's no way to argue with that. The videos are all there as proof of my first forecast. And what I'm showing everyone is my ability to interpret astrology. But prediction is prediction, and trading is trading. With real money on the line, if I see any risk that my view could be wrong, I immediately issue a reminder. Does that mean I'm eating both sides? To me, that's just nonsense. I'm here to provide trading ideas, not to fight against the market. Honestly, I think I've done very well. every time I announce my forecast publicly weeks or even months in advance. So I hope some people stop freeloading and then turning around to attack me. Why do I delete comments or block people? Because if you can't even understand plain words and instead start making irrelevant attacks, claiming I can't write courses or don't qualify to teach, then of course I won't tolerate it. Then they say I delete posts because I'm guilty, or they complain that I shared their comments publicly. That's contradictory. If I were guilty, I wouldn't show your words publicly. What's wrong with posting real comments in a public channel? Or do you want me to create fake accounts and stage fake chat records? Either way, they'll say it's wrong. If you don't like being quoted, then don't harass me. If you can't stand me, just stop watching. But clinging onto me in a stranger's channel, that's just bizarre. After running this channel for years, this is the first time I've encountered this. When I asked if he was a hater, he even said he wasn't my fan. That's even scarier. Not a fan, but somehow familiar with my daily reports. Or maybe he just skimmed a little and twisted it out of context. When the market finally dropped, I actually felt relieved. Because if it hadn't dropped, it would have had to rally a huge amount instead. And that would have been my most ridiculous miss so far. Missing such a big rally. As for what comes next, I already covered that in the daily report, so I won't repeat it here. The support levels we discussed, whether for Bitcoin, SUI, or ADA, have all been reached. Now the question is whether the market will keep dropping or just move sideways to digest. That's hard to say. That's why I chose to enter gradually in batches, because I can't be sure if it will fall further. Next week will be from September 29th to October 6th. The key days to watch are from the 1st to the 3rd, when there could be a rebound. I won't read out the exact levels. I'll just put them on the screen so you can screenshot and keep them. For Bitcoin, it needs to hold at $111,350 before we can expect upside targets. For Ethereum, it needs to hold at $4,110 before we can expect upside targets. If the midline doesn't hold, you must clearly understand that the upside targets are impossible. Alright, that's it for today. Weekly forecasts should never be viewed alone. They must be combined with daily and monthly charts. The daily charts fill in what the weekly might miss. I wish you all the best. May you buy at the bottom and sell at the top. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful. Send this to your friends too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.